Here, it's me again, getting at you with some news about Qatar, news about the World Cup in 2026, uh, news about the friendlies, and also just some good stuff about the tier system. So, a brief introduction of uh, understanding European football, soccer, whatever you really want to call it. But apparently, they're not going to be serving alcoholic beverages over at Qatar. I agree in a sense because of I've seen what some soccer fans, football fans do, and it's just the drunken, disorderly Western person. It's just if you do that stuff here, you're gonna either end up arrested or probably even worse, maybe even on the end of the flatline scale. So the way I look at it is, it doesn't look like that they were are overly excited about not serving alcoholic, but I'm pretty sure they wanted to, but they were looking at the whole Richter scale, the whole scale of everything, and to avoid people being drunk and disorderly and stupid in the streets, best is not to serve beverages that are alcoholic in the stadiums. And in a sense, I agree, but I agree only so far. But I agree because that's their customs as well. Like, that's the rules they're setting up. Like, you knew going in that they were going to have certain rules, that there was going to be different things here at this World Cup that they're going to be not at the next one. So I agree with that in a sense. It's they're not changing. It's only a month event. They're not going to change an entire culture just for us. Okay, and for me, for people that just and that's why I agree, and that's why I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people shouldn't. If you're there for the football, if you're there to be a drunk, stupid idiot, well, I guess I know why you're not there. But you know, it, like, you can't just expect an entire culture to change and their civilization and their ways just for a month event, 30-day event, right? Like, you know it's funny because everyone's all mad about, oh well, they're not going to make any money off of it. It's Qatar. I'm pretty sure the reason why they're giving everyone the treatment that they are is because they have enough money. They just won a World Cup there. They want to host a World Cup. The Middle East has been begging to host a World Cup, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. But maybe people shouldn't be just so Western. Maybe enjoy the customs that are there. Maybe have some respect for their culture. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Okay? 2026, it's going to be here in North America, and there's going to be 48 teams, and you're going to get all the beer you want. So, you know what? To me, chalk it up as a fucking sales loss, because that's where I end at that. Because, I've watched soccer fans come out onto the field, punch players. I remember on Tim and Sid, there was a conversation about, are they going to ban alcoholic beverages from sporting events, and it was because of soccer players being idiots. So, like, if you don't believe me, you can look up the events. Just it's all over Facebook, Instagram. There's TikToks about it. Pick or choose your favorite site and just go app and just go forth. You'll find plenty of them. But yeah, the 2026 one, I can't wait. From what I hear, there's going to be only 3 stadiums picked: Vancouver, Toronto, and apparently they want to use Edmonton because they want an outdoor one. But I don't know what there isn't. I don't think there's a specific time. I think it's going to be again in October and November next year. I don't know why they chose November or December this time around, but there's that's just me. I have no there's I was totally shocked there, actually, to be honest, especially after the pandemic. I was surprised they even chose the Middle East because of just they always choose somewhere closer where everyone has necessarily a lot more choices. But I guess, but that's just me. There's international friendlies that are taking place today. Apparently, Serbia beat Bahrain 5-1. Egypt beat Belgium, and a last minute tally 2-1. Cameroon tied with Panama. The Iraq Venezuela on the 21st is canceled. That was the last one, the last international game up until December 11th and 14th, which Thailand plays a couple of teams, Myanmar and Chinese Taipei. And in January, USA versus Serbia and Colombia. And those are the ones after the World Cup, or after the 21st, because international friendlies go throughout, even today, tomorrow, Sunday, and that's it. And there's a good slate of them, any ones that speak out to me personally, besides necessarily the one, the Russia, Bosnia, Herzegovina one that got postponed. I'm up in the air about Russia. If you're not going to ban the entire country like Belarus and Russia from international international gameplay, regardless of friendlies or not, then just then start playing in their hometown. Like, quit telling them, oh, they can play, and then don't let them host one. Like, that's just disrespectful. Yeah, I could talk about the Ukraine Russia thing, but no, quit disrespecting a team like that, and just if you're gonna have a game played in their country or their city, St. Petersburg or wherever they are, just then don't let them, stop letting them participate, because that's just disrespectful. If you're gonna disrespect them, then whatever, right? Just finally let them host a soccer match, if that. The ones that Turkey and Czechia, that one kind of speaks out to me. Algeria and Sweden, Slovakia and Chile, Finland, Norway, Austria and Italy, Greece and Hungary. Those ones necessarily speak out to me. Those are the ones in the next couple of days. I'm not going to tell people what my thoughts are, because the friendlies, they can go either way. One team can get blasted, another team can, in a draw. International friendlies. They're not necessarily playing for a spot or whatever. They're just playing to get their legs under them and getting ready for the Nations League. What else do we got here? Oh yeah, and news about the transfer portal. Mbappe, apparently, Man United's going to offer him a huge contract. Like I said, don't expect anyone else not to stand guard. People like Juventus, people like, they're gonna. Sorry, places. I should apologize, people. Places, clubs. Don't expect anyone not to throw a contract at him. Like, especially the English Premier League. Ronaldo, though, like, taking off, that could happen. I'm up in the air about that, but at the same time, if Mbappe does move there, it could keep him, but also he could feel like, well, why are you going to give him a bigger contract and then just take off to, who knows? Ronaldo can make anywhere, any league that he decides to choose, that much better, because just from his presence. If I was to just briefly talk about the tier system, because I always talk about that, so it's easier if I do it like this. If you talk about the Champions League, there's Europa, and then the Europa Conference, which just had its inaugural year. Roma beat Fenerbahce, the Netherlands team, in their inaugural year. Roma, the Italians, won. And best way to put it is, it's like if you look at baseball, you got your major leagues, you got your double A ball and your triple A ball, and so you can, people move up like that. Another way you can look at it is like the NHL. You got NHL, and you got the AHL, and then the ECHL. So, and I like using the baseball analogy because it's just it almost works like a baseball. Like you can, teams will move up, stuff like that. I don't know. Like they kind of like coordinate. I saw recently the ECHL and AHL. Some teams moved down to the East Coast Hockey League there. But another way and another easier way to decipher the tier system is how you know each league. Like you got the English Premier, the Italian Serie A, the French Ligue 1, Bundesliga, the German League, La Liga, the Spanish Super League. There's all these different leagues, and it's almost like NCAA football or NCAA. It's like college football or basketball. It's you know who your SEC is, you know who your Big Ten is, you know who your Pac-12 is, you know who if you're looking at football, you know who your Alabama is, you know who your Georgia Bulldogs are, you know who your LSU is, Mississippi, right? Clemson. Also, and if you use the basketball reference, you know who your ACC is, your Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12, right? You know who's who, and you could tell by the amount of other teams in their league or whatever. They have some of the coolest names. Like I was just looking at just how the names of some of these. You got the Austrians have the Austrian Bundesliga. Finland has Veikkausliiga, that's the Finns. They have some cool names, man. One that really, really, really spoke out to me was the Hungarian name, the Nemzeti Bajnokság one or whatever. It's their names of their league is just incredible. Like some of these places, like they, the Swedes, the Norse, and they play incredible football. Right now, the way I'm looking at it, and especially with the statistics, like just the, PSV looks absolutely like people that could be huge underdogs going into the Europa for the title. Compare, like they did good, but like if you look at their records compared to like other teams, well, I guess because they're in the play, and they were for underdogs. They have a good record, winning 14-1-5 in both their league and the Europa. Like that's pretty good freaking for underdogs. Nantes being in the minus 12 through both leagues or whatever, having a 5-7-9 record, that's just horrible. I don't like I wouldn't put money on Nantes, that's for sure. Rennes, on the other hand, AS Monaco, Sorry, I have a bad. I have a hard time. Sometimes I have to sound it out to pronounce it. Midland, the Danish though. They only drew. They went 2-2-2, and they could pull off an upset. Barcelona did great in their league. Didn't do good so in Champions League though, which kind of sucks, and I don't understand that. Sevilla was really disappointing. Also, Juventus disappointing in the Champions, but they can do something maybe in the Europa. I like the Austrians are at Red Bull Salzburg. I actually really do. I think that could be a good. They could match up with a lot of teams, especially if you have good goaltending. Right now the Europa Conference, it's done pretty much. You got people like Braga and Basel, Florentia, Lazio making their way in there for hopefully to stay in as well. But looking at the overall slate, I don't know. Bulgarians, Ludogorets, whatever the Bulgarians. They that's some impressive stats. They're first in their league, but that's just it. It's again all about the competition. That you know the English Premier is the premier competition, and that's how they like to put them on the scale. And but you know every league it just has its own pros and cons, and a lot of it is pros because it just there's such good players that don't get noticed, and then when you see them in say the MLS or whatever, it's just amazing. Like it amazes me. All right, talked about the tier system, talked about some of the matchups. I think that's gonna be it. I'll probably catch you guys either after the first round or just catch you in the knockout stages of the World Cup. So I will see you guys in December. Much love.